An atheist voter asked Marco Rubio a perfectly logical question at a campaign event here, and Rubio, of course, didn't answer it, and he did this creepy pro-Christian stump speech. Let's watch.
Atheist voter. I represent millions of atheists and non-theists around the country, one of the fastest growing voter blocs, and you said earlier that you want to stand up for religious freedom and all of that. My question is for atheist voters that are looking for somebody that will uphold their rights as Americans and not pander to a certain religious group. I just noticed your recent ad. It mentioned nothing about policy. It mentioned nothing about ideas, and it simply talked about wanting us to follow faith and find God and go to heaven and things like that, which is fine for those people that align with you. My question is, how do you plan on upholding our rights and focusing on non-theists? And you know, because there's talks in our community about you running as pastor-in-chief instead of commander-in-chief. So I'm curious your thoughts.
Well, first of all, as I said during my speech, you have a right to believe whatever you want. You have a right to believe in nothing at all. You most certainly have that right. By the way, I'm a Christian. I can't force you to be a Christian. Christianity is a free gift. Mm-hmm. We Christians believe that salvation is a free gift that has to be willfully accepted. I can't force it on you. So you have a right to believe whatever you want, and I congratulate you on believing whatever you want. Right. I'm going to share my faith, especially when I'm asked, because my faith influences who I am in every aspect of my life. First of all, I believe you can't really understand America unless you don't understand. If you don't believe that Judeo-Christian values influenced America, you don't know history. I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general. This nation was founded on the principle that our rights come from our Creator. If there's no Creator, then where did your rights come from? And so that's why it's important for us to understand that. And we're going to protect the rights of Americans to continue to believe that. We're also going to have a country where no one is forced to violate their conscience, which means no one's going to force you to believe in God, but no one's going to force me to stop talking about God. I'm not going to force you to pray. I'm not going to force you to go to church. I'm not going to force you to aspire or to espouse beliefs that you don't have. But no one's going to take away my right and your right to live out the teachings of your faith. No one. And I'm present. And I want to be very clear about something. And not only am I a Christian, and not only am I influenced by my faith, but it is the single greatest influence in my life. And from that, I'll never hide. And I'll tell you why. Because I know that if I'm lucky, I get to live to be 85 or 90, depending on what life expectancy becomes with all this new medicine. But I'm more interested in eternity and the ability to live forever with my Creator.
Wow. Okay, so Christianity is, quote, the greatest influence in your life. And what you're really concerned about, what you're really focused on, is not your, 80, 85, 90 years on this earth. You can't wait to live forever with Jesus in heaven. Okay, but you're being delusional. I mean, this is like theocratic talk 101. This is stuff that fits in much better in Iran or Saudi Arabia than in the United States of America, which is a secular nation. And then also notice how the question was, hey, what are you going to do to protect the rights of atheists? And what does he do? He immediately flips it and pretends like Christianity is under attack. No, but Marco, that's not true. He said at one point, nobody's going to force me from believing in God. No, that's right. Nobody's going to force you from believing in God. Nobody's trying. Not a single person is trying. You ain't under attack. Over 70% of the American people are Christian. Over 90% celebrate Christmas. You guys are a dominant majority. But he asks a question about a true persecuted minority, and you flip it to, we're the victims. We're the victims. We're under attack. Nobody's going to stop me from believing in it. Yeah, that's right. Nobody's going to stop you. Why are you pretending like they are? They're not. They're not. But meanwhile, talk about atheists. In 7 states on the state law books, atheists are not allowed to run. Now, that's unconstitutional. The Constitution overrides the state constitutions, and it's clear that we can run according to that. But bottom line is, it's still written on the books. Could you imagine if written on the state books, there was still stuff about, banning interracial marriage or banning black people from running for office or banning Jews? People be like, that's the most ridiculous, bigoted, intolerant nonsense I've ever seen. Let's vote to get her off right now. But they don't even do that. They just leave it there. Whatever, leave it there. We've covered stories on this show about hate crimes against atheists. There was one person who was asked, hey, do you believe in God? It was a guy who's already disabled. The guy was like, no, I don't believe in God. He got his ass beat and then his stuff stolen from this super Christian lady. We've covered all this stuff. Forced prayer, government officials who, they say they're Christian, but they're not practicing. They don't want to pray or anything. Fired from, government work. I believe it was in Oklahoma for this case, because they didn't go to mass with the governor and their buddies. Okay, this is theocratic bullshit. You want to talk about rights? Talk about the rights of those people. They're being taken away. They're being persecuted because they don't believe. Nobody's being persecuted because they believe in Jesus. That's a super popular position in the United States. And I love how condescending he is when he's like, I don't want to force you to believe, but Christianity is a gift that must be accepted. Oh, it's a gift that must be accepted. I see. He's looking down his nose at you. It's so pompous. It's like, I have this perfect truth that, of course, I can't prove because it's really not true. But then if you don't want to accept it, well, that's on you. You can choose to be inferior to me. That's fine. I'll let you be inferior to me. But just know you're inferior to me. That's the heart of what he's getting at there. And that, of course, is absurd. And it gets to this problem of fundamentalists of all the faiths who think they're superior and the other is bad. And you can clearly see that here. And then finally, he says the U.S. is founded on Judeo-Christian values. This probably is the most pervasive myth in politics in America. Virtually everybody on the right believes that, oh yeah, no, we're founded on Judeo-Christian values. Yeah, no, of course. Except we're founded on the exact opposite of that. This country is the first explicitly secular country. It's in the First Amendment of the Constitution. The government shall not establish a religion. That's secularism by definition. These guys are like, no, Judeo-Christian, we're founded on Judeo-Christian principles. How many times in the Constitution does it say Judeo-Christian? 0. How many times does it say Christianity? God, the Bible, Jesus. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.